Welcome to The Explainer. So today we're talking about the human side of operations, but we're going to get into the biology of it. We're going to find out why the best leaders, the ones people would do anything for, aren't just the boss. They're doing something much, much deeper, creating a space where their people feel totally safe to do incredible work.
All right, so to really get this, let's start with a story. Picture this. It's a dark night in Afghanistan. Thousands of feet up, you've got an Air Force pilot. His call sign is Johnny Bravo, and he's in his A-10 Warthog just circling. His whole job right then, protect a special ops team on the ground.
But there's a big problem. He can't see them. The weather's just awful. Thick clouds, mountains. All he has is a crackly radio. And even through the static, he can just feel the tension from the soldiers down there. He knows they can't see him either. And just seeing that support overhead, that's a massive confidence boost they don't have.
And then it happens. 3 words come across the radio. Troops in contact. Look, that is the one call no pilot ever wants to get. It means his guys are in a firefight. So what does he do? Without even being asked, completely breaking protocol, Johnny Bravo just points the nose of his plane straight down. He plunges blind, right through those clouds, into a valley that's just lit up with enemy fire.
So you have to ask yourself, why? Why would somebody risk everything, their own life, for people they can't even see? It seems like it goes against every instinct for self-preservation, right? Well, the answer isn't just about being brave or having good training. Turns out, the answer is hardwired into our biology. It's all about the chemicals in our brains that are literally designed to help us survive together.
Okay, so think of it like this. Our bodies have this built-in incentive program, right? And it's run by chemicals. We can basically split them into 2 groups. First, you've got what you might call the selfish chemicals, endorphins and dopamine. These are the ones that push us to get stuff done, to achieve goals, to find food. They're all about me. Then you have the selfless chemicals, serotonin and oxytocin. These are the social ones. They're all about connection, trust. They're what make us amazing team players.
Let's talk about dopamine first. You know that awesome little feeling you get when you cross something off your to-do list, or when you finally hit a goal you've been working on? That's dopamine, and it's super important for making progress. But here's the catch. It's also highly addictive. That's why we get hooked on checking our phones for that little notification, or why businesses can get obsessed with hitting those quarterly numbers. It's that chemical hit of individual achievement.
And then there's serotonin. You can think of this as the leadership chemical. It's that warm feeling of pride you get when your team or your boss recognizes you for your work. And that feeling, it makes us want to do it again. It reinforces our place in the group, makes us feel loyal, especially to the leaders who make us feel seen and valued. It's really the chemical of group pride.
Next up is oxytocin. This is the big one. It's the chemical of friendship, of love, of deep, deep trust. You get a little hit of it from a simple handshake, a hug, or even just witnessing an act of kindness. Oxytocin is literally the biological basis for empathy. Without it, we couldn't form the real bonds that make cooperation possible. This is the chemical that powers the human side of operations.
Okay, and then there's the other side of the coin, cortisol. This is your body's alarm system. It's the chemical of stress, of anxiety. It floods your system when you feel threatened, getting you ready for fight or flight. Now, it's meant for short bursts, like running from a predator. But here is the absolute most important part for any leader to understand. Cortisol blocks oxytocin. It literally shuts it down. Biologically, it is impossible to feel deep trust and empathy when you are stressed out and feel unsafe.
So all of this chemistry brings us to the central idea of this whole explainer, something called the circle of safety. And this isn't some fluffy management concept. It is a powerful biological reality. The circle of safety is any group, a team, a company, a family, where people feel safe and protected from dangers inside the tribe.
Now, when a leader gets this right and builds a strong circle of safety, it's like magic. People feel like they truly belong. You see trust, real cooperation. The good chemicals, serotonin and oxytocin, are flowing freely. And think about it. If you're not spending all your time and energy watching your back, worried about office politics or your own boss, what can you do? You can focus all of that energy outward, on the competition, on innovation, on facing the real dangers together.
But what happens when that circle is broken or doesn't exist? Well, you get the exact opposite. The culture becomes all about fear and self-interest. People are literally working to protect themselves from each other. You get politics, information hoarding, silos, and everyone is just marinating in cortisol. And we know what that does, right? It just kills any chance of real trust or cooperation.
So,
If this is so simple biologically, why are so many of our workplaces so bad at it? Well, a huge piece of the puzzle is this word abstraction. In today's world, our organizations are huge. They're global. We've created all this distance between us. We end up managing people through emails and spreadsheets, people we've never even met. And we make decisions that have a huge impact on lives we never, ever see.
There's actually a famous and kind of scary experiment from the 60s that shows this perfectly. It's called the Milgram experiment. Here's how it worked. Volunteers were brought in and told by a guy in a lab coat, an authority figure, to give electric shocks to someone in another room every time they got a question wrong. Now, the person getting shocked was just an actor, but the volunteer, they didn't know that.
And the results were, well, they were horrifying. When the volunteers were separated by a wall, when they couldn't see the person they were supposedly hurting, a full 65% of them, 65%, kept flipping the switches all the way to the end, to the one marked 450 volts XXX. The abstraction, that physical distance, made it so much easier to do harm.
And that brings us right back to the modern workplace. The key takeaway is right here. The more abstract people become, the easier it is to do them harm. So what happens when our employees are just numbers on a spreadsheet, when our customers are just data points on a chart? That abstraction makes it dangerously easy to make decisions that hurt people, like massive layoffs to make the quarterly numbers look good without ever having to look those people in the eye.
So what does this all mean for leadership? Given everything we know about our own biology and how dangerous abstraction can be, what does it actually mean to be a leader?
Well, first off, let's be clear what it's not. Leadership is not a rank. It is not about your title or your spot on the org chart. That doesn't make you a leader. That just makes you an authority.
No, true leadership, it's a responsibility. It's the profound, heavy responsibility for the precious human lives that have been put in your care. It's remembering that every single person on your team is somebody's son, somebody's daughter, and it is your job to build an environment where they can come to work and feel safe.
And it's a choice. It's a choice you make every single day. A choice to put the well-being of your people first. A choice to make sure that circle of safety includes every single person, not just the executives at the top.
Because when leaders make that choice, the people inside that circle will move heaven and earth for you. They will give everything they have to see that vision become a reality. And they'll look out for each other. It brings us right back to Johnny Bravo. He risked his life for those soldiers. Why? Because he was part of their circle. And he knew, without a doubt, they would do the exact same thing for him.
So this really leaves all of us with one simple but really important question to ask ourselves. It doesn't matter if you're a CEO, a manager, or a parent. The question is, who is in your circle of safety? Because building that circle, making it stronger and wider, that's not just some nice-to-have management theory. It's a biological imperative. It's how we build teams and organizations that don't just survive, they truly thrive.